Do you remember arrays? Now we had said that despite being mutable, arrays cannot take new entries. But what will we do when there are dynamic entries and we want to add more elements to an array? That seems like a problem, doesn't it? But remember, there is no problem that cannot be solved, and in this case, the problem of fixed arrays is solved by something called lists. So what is a list? Lists are just like arrays. That is, they can store many items of the same or different data types. There are two types of lists in Kotlin: immutable lists and mutable lists. Let's look at immutable lists first. So, what are immutable lists? As the name suggests, they are immutable. That is, neither can their size be changed, nor can they change the values that are stored inside them. So, they have a fixed size and fixed values. So you see how array and lists can be related and understood. We can change the values of arrays but not for immutable lists, while the size of both cannot change. Next, let's see how we can define a list in Kotlin. Immutable lists are defined using the list of keyword in Kotlin. This is how the syntax for declaring a list will look like. So we use the var or val keyword first. Then we give the name of the list. The equal to sign comes next. Then we use the list of keyword, following which we give the data type of the list. We know that Kotlin has type inference, so we can skip giving the data type as well. After this, we give the values of the list within these brackets. Now let's go to the IDE and print a list of strings. This is how we can do it. Simple enough, right? Now let's run this program and look at the output. Yes, we get all the values of the list as our output. So as you can see, lists are pretty similar to arrays. Now let's try to change an element of the list. So, we write this statement here and try to change the value of index 1 in this list from table to bed. But as we expected, the IDE throws an error by underlining this in red. If we hover over it, we will see that it is an unresolved reference error. Now, just like we had different functions in arrays to extract elements or to get the size of the array, etc., similarly, we have different functions in lists. You can simply write the name of the list and put a dot after it to see the various functions that can be used with lists. If the hints do not come up, you can press Ctrl plus space to see them. Also, you must remember that all these functions can only be used to retrieve data from the list, but cannot alter anything in the list since they are immutable. So what is the function of an immutable list? Just like val-type variables are used to store static values in a program, similarly, immutable lists can also be used to store static information in a program. So that was all about immutable lists. Click on Next to learn about mutable lists.